We are meeting here today for Alex's 3-year evaluation. We're going to go ahead and start the meeting by making introductions. I'm Nancy Reed, the SPED teacher.
I'm Mrs. Smith, and I am the school psychologist.
I am Mrs. Bowman, and I am the principal.
I'm Alex, and I'm the student.
I'm Mrs. Snyder, and I'm his mother.
I am Cassie Kelly, and I am the math teacher.
Would you like a copy of your parent rights?
Yes, please. Thank you.
And you also have a copy of the IEP, so we'll
Yep.
just go ahead and read along that. Alex's teachers report that he's struggling to stay focused in class. He also has days where he wants to do really well on assignments, and he does a really good job. And he has days where Alex does not want to focus and do the work, and those are the days that he struggles. And then his grade reflects from that.
Well, I found the same thing that happens at home. Sometimes he does very well and focuses and is able to complete tasks in a timely manner, and sometimes he has issues where he just can't seem to focus. He was on medication at one time, and we were able to work that kind of out of the day because he was doing so much better. But we can always go back and revisit the doctor and see about maybe getting more of the medication again, if that's what you guys would see would be necessary to help him with his schoolwork, because I see that he's had some issues here.
Okay. All right. We're going to start with Alex's strengths, so if you just want to turn to that page. Alex was administered the teacher-student interview on January 18th, 2019. Alex states that the easiest way for him to learn is by hearing the lessons, and then he may need a few more examples of how to do those so he can get a good grasp on them. He does not like to ask for help when he doesn't understand. He enjoys his ELA class, which is his English language class, because he says it's quiet in there and he really likes getting the help from the para that's currently in that class. Alex is not involved in any community services, but he does participate in football, track, and weightlifting. Alex would like to pursue a career in the political science field after graduating high school. Alex has a goal of attending college and graduating with a degree in political science. Alex has aspirations of playing professional football. Alex is a very social student and states that this is one of his strengths. Would you agree with that? Yeah. Alex states his weaknesses is not being able to stay on task and finishing his task. He also states that he needs help getting started on assignments. He does not like to ask the teacher to leave the room to get help. And Mrs. Watkins, his technology teacher, reports that Alex is good about adding to the conversation when they're talking about working, since he does have a job. He does seem to like that. Since it was his 3-year eval, we did the Woodcock-Johnson assessment testing, and we found that Alex has a weakness in reading. And although he scored high in reading the passage, he scores low in understanding what he's reading, so his reading comprehension is a little bit low. Yes. So a few things that we're going to try. His reading comprehension, we're going to provide him with a para in his reading and ELA classes. We're going to ask that he reads the passage aloud to the para or to another student, when you're not doing group work, so that can help you understand what you're reading. One other thing Alex has agreed to try is we're going to highlight key words and phrases within the passage to see if that will help him, and he's going to give that a good try. And then, even though he doesn't like to leave the room, we just feel that on bigger reading assignments, it'll just be better if he's in the quiet location with the para and they can read on it, and they can reread passages that
I
he's
agree with
struggling
that. I agree with that.
We also gave him a reading comprehension assessment at the 8th grade level, and he scored a 40%. So our first 9 weeks goal is that he raises that to a 60%.
That would be wonderful.
Then by the end of the IEP year, we'd like to see that grade at an 8%.
Wonderful goals. I agree. I think you can do it.
Do you ever take them to the library? Anything?
We have gone to the library. He doesn't really enjoy that as much. He's more of instead of books, he's more on the computers and things, and we're trying to work through that now. I think that's kind of part of his focusing, is that he gets on these computers and he doesn't really pay attention in
So
class.
much distress.
Yeah, distracted.
Might be a good idea to, even if he watches a video, maybe to discuss with you what was in that video, you know, or maybe if he got articles or magazines of something that's of interest, just short articles he could read,
Yeah,
and then he
read
could just
those,
discuss
yeah.
that with you,
We can
so
do
you
that.
can kind of help him to
Yeah,
pick
like
out
the
those
football
key
career
facts.
and stuff that he wants,
Yeah.
we can work on something like that.
Okay. All right, now we're gonna go to the area of math.
Yes, Alex does good in class, although I have a problem with him retaining some of his math facts. He also has trouble focusing. He doesn't quite sit still long enough to focus and take time out to do his actual work. But other than that, the retaining and his focusing just needs to try to be a boost.
We are going to address that, maybe with the medication if it deems to be necessary down the road. But right now, I would just like to see if the class could work with him a little more on the one-on-one with the pair. Maybe that would help him.
Yes, yes.
We conducted a chapter review test, and then we took and made some worksheets off of those concepts to test him a couple weeks later to see if he was retaining those facts. And we also did a time sampling where I went in the classroom to keep track of when he was on task and when he wasn't on task. For example, here was during the bell work.
Right.
Mrs. Kelly always gives them some questions on the board, and he was on task 58% of the time. So just slightly over half the amount of time he was on task. And then they grade the bell work in yesterday's assignment, and he was on task 39% of the time, which he really doesn't like to do this, but we feel that if he could do this, when he's grading the assignment, he'll see where he went wrong.
Right.
You know, because in math, you have all those
And
steps.
it would help in the
Yes.
big picture if you
Yes,
could
to
just do
know
that, okay?
where
It's-
he
it's
went
to
wrong
help
in
you,
this.
okay?
Yes. And then during the lesson, which they were doing a hands-on lesson that day, which is really what Alex likes best, he was on task 74% of the time. And then when they actually did the assignments, he was on task 89% of the time. And that, during the assignment itself, it was 100%. It was when they were done that he kind of wanted to go around.
Kinda lost
But
his focus.
he also took a leadership role, I
Good.
think, because he understood it, it was hands-on. and it
And
was
he is very
something he liked
social,
to do.
so.
Yeah, so he did a good job there. We're going to, in the math class, they have double desks, so we're gonna have Alex sit at a desk by himself so that he
I think
doesn't
that would
have
be
that.
helpful, yeah. It's a
that distraction there.
alone.
Yep. We're also going to have the para in there to provide cues and prompts to keep him focused.
He really likes his para.
Yes, and she can kind of watch to see if he's, skipped a step,
Is able to-
or didn't
to
get that
focus
step
or
right,
not.
right, yeah. And then, she's gonna chunk the assignments if they're big, so that he doesn't, feel
It's
quite
not
so
overwhelming, yeah, that's a good idea.
And then, if we see that he's struggling with a certain concept, we're gonna pull him out to a separate location and just give him some more review problems
Yeah.
to make
Little
sure that he
one-on-one, I
has
think that would
down.
help a lot.
Yes.
Does he bring his homework home?
He does, but I have to stay on him to make sure that it gets done. We do struggle sometimes with the completion.
He said his older sisters help him with math
Yes.
sometimes because they're strong, so
Yeah.
he seemed to think that helped him. They also have a program called Khan Academy that can help you
Okay.
with math problems, if the math that we're doing, you don't quite understand.
Right, it's
how
different
to-
than what I learned.
Right,
and-
right, then you
yeah.
can go into that
Oh,
and
that's
that will
nice.
help you.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so, and he can go into that also.
Okay.
Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and go into our writing,
Okay.
which Mrs. Giffens voiced concerns with his writing abilities, and she'd just like to make those a little bit stronger before he heads into high school next year.
Now, what is she concerned about exactly on the writing? Is it the legibility or?
He has good ideas and thoughts, but he struggles breaking those down
Okay,
into separate sentences,
So it kind of runs together
Yeah,
and
he has
has to get
one
the- yeah.
long sentence. So we did a 6-week, 6 traits of writing assessment, just to kind of chart his writing, to see if we can see where his strengths and weaknesses lies. And you can get a score of 5 is the highest,
Okay.
and 1's the lowest. And he scored a 2.5. and the other kids in his class in 8th grade score at a 3.5. So we're gonna try to boost that up just a little bit. His strength is in word choice and the voice that he has in the sentence, but his weakness is in sentence fluency and
Right.
conventions, where to put capitals, where to put punctuations, where to break, stop that thought. to go
Yeah,
to
it's
the next
something that
thought.
we have been working on, just in the reading and things. We had him read a sentence and we started diagramming a little bit and trying to work through how to make the sentence sound better than if you just run it all together.
Right.
So, yeah, we're working on that at home.
And that plays a huge part in the success of these kids.
Yeah.
Working
His
with them
sister
at
helps
home
him
no
out
matter
a
what.
lot, so,
Yeah.
yeah. He's getting some extra help now.
Yeah. We set a goal to score a 3 in both those two areas. So, I'll just show you a quick little sampling. Here, we did a 3-day assessment where he just did 3 writing assessments so we could get an average score. So his
Okay.
average score was actually a 2.3. So then we wanted it to go up. So in the middle, he kind of,
Dropped the
was
ball.
those days when he didn't really want to work, so his score did go down. In this assignment here, where he got a 2.6, we helped him with the first paragraph and then asked him to independently work on the second paragraph. But that didn't work out quite as well. So the next assessment we did, we helped him with the whole thing. And
Right.
we pulled him into a quiet setting. He verbalized what topic he wanted and then the ideas from that, so that then we could put those into
Okay.
a sentence. And then we helped him break down the sentence structure, kind of work on
Yep.
that.
Sounds like, is it something that he gets to pick himself, or do you pick the topics? or-
Sometimes he gets to pick the topic and sometimes we pick the topic.
Okay.
Because, when you're in class, you don't always get that free choice. The teacher may have, the topic chosen. And we do daily edits in his resource room time where we pull him out. He does daily edits where they're a paragraph long and he's just looking in there for any errors in grammar and writing, sentence structure, conventions, sentence fluency. So I think he's kind of getting to where he knows that every day we have one of those to start today. So, and then things you can do at home to help him is just encourage him to take his time when he's writing. Slow down. Sometimes I think he just wants to get it done.
Yeah,
so then he
sometimes
writes
we
so
just
fast.
plot times
Yeah.
that this is what we're gonna do during this time, and we have to stay on schedule with that a little bit, and we're trying to work through, just being able to complete assignments is one of the
Yeah.
issues.
And then once in a while, if he's reading a little article or watches a little video, just have him write a quick little summary of that, which will help his writing skills stay solid. So. Then on this page, this lists all the classes he'll take in high school, and we'll keep grades in that. That's what that's for. And then we have our impact of exceptionality.
So, Alex has a diagnosis of ADD that affects his ability to sustain attention and focus, which you see at home as well. This is especially true in reading. He has low reading levels, not his reading level, but his understanding, comprehension of it. He will need support to continue making progress in general education. Alex's access to specialized instruction and support provided by special education aims at making him make progress to grade level. So we want to keep boosting until we get to
Going up the
grade
ladder,
level.
yeah.
And to finish, he'll receive his special education services in the classroom, and then he has that 1 hour of pull-out every day where he comes in the room where we work on math and reading and writing skills. He participates in the district-wide assessments. His accommodations are a separate, quiet, individual setting. He can have frequent breaks, so if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you can ask to get a drink of water,
Step out.
maybe step out into the resource room, just to gather yourself and be able to go back in there. And we do give him additional time on assignments to get those completed. So are there any concerns, other concerns you
I would
have?
just like to say thank you so much for doing all that you do. I know that you got it in you, and you can do this. And I think with the extra help, that's gonna help him succeed and maybe make your life a little easier once you get this one, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.